What I am witnessing in this chapter of Tokyo Ghoul is not pleasant. There is a possibility that we had everybody in that group just die. I will cover this in just a second. But I will say this right now. This chapter, holy crap, Ishida, you have no chill. You have no fucking chill. He doesn't even know the meaning. Now, I want to do a quick shout out to a Chibi that helped me have this thumbnail for this video, that colored the thumbnail. The Chibi is called MinnoTG. I will have this person's Tumblr linked in the description. This Chibi has been coloring each individual chapter for the past couple weeks now, and I want to say thank you to this Chibi for allowing me to use his color panels for my thumbnail for this video. So, yeah, go check out the colored chapter of Tokyo Ghoul. I have it linked in the description if you want to see it for yourself. Okay, so, hello everybody, it's Chibi, and today I'm here to bring all of you the weekly chapter review of Tokyo Ghoul, chapter 51. Now, I'm going to say, right off the bat, this video is probably not going to be as long as previous videos, just because this chapter is a very short chapter, but also it was a battle-orientated chapter, and there's only really one major point I want to key in on and talk about, and that comes to Noro, and besides that, everything else is pretty much straightforward. But before that, though, I'm just gonna say that this chapter is just so fucking badass. And it comes out on a Friday, like it came out early Friday, like midday, early Friday, and I don't know why, this chapter's already out, because I know Fairy Tail and Taizai are already out in terms of spoilers. I know their spoilers are already out, so it's very early for some of these series to be getting their, chapters out. So I'm curious, is there a holiday or something going on in Japan? Because, the chapters of this week, One Piece, Bleach, and stuff, it all came out on the proper dates, so I wonder what's going on. Like, is there something happening next week, or what's going down? Because I'm curious why Tokyo Ghoul Chapter 51 is just out so damn early. I'm used to it coming out on a Saturday or Sunday. But anyways, so Heise, he lost his hand or his arm. And there was many that were asking what was my thoughts about that. Like, who did I think actually took his hand at the end of the last week's chapter? And for the life of me, I cannot believe it, but I forgot to mention who I thought it was, and I guess I don't need to mention it now. I did think it was Kanye, but we come to find out it was him. So, Heise, he lost his arm, and all of a sudden, you just hear screaming. Like, the chapter just starts off with Sasaki screaming his ass off. He's just like, ah, just, because, if you lost your arm, it probably hurt like a bitch. You'd have blood just squirting everywhere every time your heart beats and stuff. Just imagine that mental image. It would not be a pleasant experience at all. So, Kanye picks up Sasaki's hand. And I'm going to quote some of the dialogue he says. Ugh, shut up, you're pissing me off, Borg. Now, hopefully I'm saying that right, but the translation of that is pig fucker. The dialogue that Noro Kane is using in this, wow, just, he straight up, his insults to what he says to Sasaki, it's like he is just done. Like, he's just done with Sasaki and his bullshit and, his connection with his Master Shu. He's done. And his dialogue just confirms that. Just the way he acts, the way he carries himself in the chapter through the panels, it's kind of crazy. So I want to take quick note of something. If you look at the mask of what Kanye is currently wearing, that's the Noro mask, there's multiple eyes on it. There is a bunch of different eyeballs, which is very strange and weird. I wonder what that mask is trying to imply, or what Ishida's trying to imply with this mask with Kanye because of it having a bunch of eyes. It looks very strange, along with, the design of it, but for the most part, it looks exactly like Noro's mask without the eyes, of course. So, what to say? The design, though, pretty cool. Kanye walking up. This is, the confrontation we've been waiting for quite a long time now, since we found out whatever happened to him and Eto torturing him. Oh my god. We get to find out more information about Noro and Eto's terms of torture in the chapter, and it confirms quite a bit, actually. It confirms what I said a while back in my review talking about a sentient Kagune, and also talking about Noro being, the walking Kagune, like a detachable Kagune from Eto. I've talked about this before, and to see how it's kind of confirmed now, well, it is confirmed. It's not kind of, it is fucking confirmed. I mean, seriously, you can't deny it any longer. But okay, let's get back on point. So the arm gets slung off the building, and as soon as I saw the arm get slung off the building, I feel like that's going to be a plot point. I feel like the arm or hand that just got tossed off the building that was Sasuke Heise's, that will be something probably important in the future. Because take note real quick. At the end of Tokyo Ghoul Part 1, if you remember, Amon, he lost his hand. Like, he lost his hand and arm and all that, and it was left behind. And if you think about that like that, what if this might be a way for a crucial plot point in the future, maybe after this arc, to where Heise Sasuke, he kind of disappears from CCG and he does his own shit. What if this hand is going to be left at the crime scene? They're going to look at it and they're like, oh, maybe he got devoured, he got eaten by a ghoul, and he's gone. That is a possibility. Maybe his, lost limb might give some form of clarification to CCG what happened to him, and then he could kind of get off scot-free. Because I don't think the way the limb was just thrown off the building would just be like that and not used ever again. I just don't think Ishida would just not use that type of crucial plot point that could be vital in the future. So yeah, I mean, Sasuke's reaction to losing his hand, I guess it makes a lot of sense. I mean, it seems about right. I mean, if you lost your hand, you'd be screaming your guts out, and that's kind of what he does. The pain on his face, crap, dude. The drawing Ishida did for Sasuke in this panel on page 4, when you see Sasuke's on his knees, and he's just holding, like, his wrist, he's, like, has his hand like this, he's like, and he has, like, a stub, you could just see the pain. Like, the pain in his face is unreal. But, I mean, I never lost hand, so I wouldn't know how it'd feel, but damn. And then right underneath that, Shu, his entire look, just Shu's look at the situation explains, I think, the general reaction of everybody after reading this chapter of Tokyo Ghoul. Or, you know what? Every chapter of Tokyo Ghoul. That is our face. Shu's face right there is the Tokyo Ghoul fandom. That is Shu's face right now. His face of concern and being scared to where he wants to shit a brick. He's just laying on the ground. His eye, you see one eye, and he's like he's just saw his boy just get his arm cut off, or his hand and arm, part of his arm cut off, and then Kanye pops up out of nowhere. He's like, Kanye, is that you? So, it just goes to show you, Shu's face, fucking hilarious. It's just, yeah, his facial reaction sums up this chapter. It's a beautiful way to sum up this chapter with just that one panel. Okay, so the face of Kanye, we get to see it darkened out, like it's completely blackened out, and then he just says, yeah, like he's confirming to Shu, yeah, I'm Kanye, I'm your servant, I'm the person that served you. And the way the eyes are drawn, it's very eerie. That's why I wanted to take a moment to really talk about the mask, the design with the eyes. There's a total of 7 eyes on his mask. Now, I don't know if that's supposed to be some form of biblical reference. Maybe it is, because, I mean, God loves 7, the number 7. Now, I could be looking too far into it, but what I'm getting at is since Eto does love her biblical symbolism, it could be possible and maybe 7 eyes might hint at some form of biblical story, maybe some form of mythology, or some ancient story, because Ishida loves using stuff like that, and I could see something along the lines with the eyes hinting at that. Maybe the eyes' positions on the mask might also hint at something, because there's definitely something very crucial about that. Like, why would Eto give this mask, or give him so many eyes? Unless he does have that many eyes now. Who the fuck knows? I mean, his body's been reconfigured, as we know. It's been tampered with. Eto had her Noros inside of him, just messing with him and his guts and shit. So, I mean, who's to say that he doesn't have multiple eyes? I mean, seriously, have we ever seen under the Noro's mask? No, we have not. So, who's to say? Well, we don't know. Anyways, next page, we have it to where we see a slap against Sasuke. He gets slapped by this giant fucking Kagune. Like, this Kagune is just fucking massive, man. Like, the size and width of this Kagune is crazy and ridiculous in shape. I mean, just look how it hits Sasuke, and it looks a lot like Noro's Kagune. If you look closely at the Kagune, it looks very similar to Noro's. Look at the ending part of it. You see, like, the spike things, like the mouth-looking weird mouth thing. Remember, Noro's Kagune has, like, that weird mouth at the end of it. And that's kind of what that looks like right there. So seeing that, I'm like, oh, shit. I mean, you could see that it's confirming that Kagune does have, like, Noro's Kagune. So Eto implanted that type of Kagune inside of him, and now he can use it. So Eto lending her powers out to people, pretty much. That's how you can actually consider it. You have it to where Kagune, he starts talking to Shu again, and he's like, Shu, I'm cleaning up the trash, so please wait a moment. He's calling my boy Sasuke trash. Damn, that fucking diss. Shu's just, he's stunned. Like, his face right now in these panels, like, wait, like, yeah, his reaction, like I said, is just our reaction to the chapter. Beautiful. Like I said, it's like Shu is the fandom. He is the fandom right now. He's watching this from the sidelines. He's like, what? Okay, next page. So page 6, Kuromoto. You have it to where Ito, he's being run towards, like, someone's run towards Ito, and he's like, his breathing. And then, all of a sudden, Ito, he puts up his hand, he's like, points at himself, and he's like this, and then he points in a different direction. I easily picked up on what this meant, but I am going to clarify, even though it did explain after this page. What this hand signal was implying was Ito was saying, okay, see me? See me? Stop what you're doing, and go. That's kind of what the hand signals meant. Like, leave me, stop, and go. That's it. So, Ito not even caring, even though he's in critical condition, he has his ribs sticking out of his fucking body right now, which is not good. I don't even want to begin to imagine the pain he is feeling right now, but it's not a good sign, because, I mean, we don't know all sorts of damage he might have in his body. He could have some form of internal damage that we're unaware of. So, Ito could possibly die. He could possibly die, but we don't know. I mean, Eto selected Ito for some reason. I mean, Eto selected him, had his ribs come out, and this has only been shown once before with Banjo, so maybe Ito might live, because Eto chose him for some reason we don't understand yet. So right after that, you have it to where Machibata, he starts talking, and he's like, hey, this is from Ito's squad. I'm currently engaged in combat with the ghouls alongside the QS squad. We have 2 casualties. My squad leader is injured, critically. I request medical backup. We're at floor. And when he starts thinking in his mind, thinking about, you know, how Ito was in the past, how he always had this smile, how he loved working with him. And you had it to where Michibata, he's like, at first I thought you were just a light-headed kid. But you know, I've come to like that part of you. We had many drinks together. So, I mean, this right here goes to show you the relationship between Machibata and Ito and how they kind of intermingled together before they came to this, you know, mission. It goes to show you some characterization of these 2 characters, but also what type of outlook he has on his squad when looking at Ito. And so, this is what he has to say about Ito. You're an amazing investigator who's even battled the owl. Don't be spouting, just go leave me behind, all that right. Alright, shitty kid? You're younger than me, so quit trying to be the hero or whatever. Sit tight until the medical squad arrives. Hang in there. QS, I'll take command. So, you have it to where Michibata, he takes the command of the lead of the QS squad and leading his fight against Noro, while Ito is critically injured, sitting back while medical treatment is coming to try to get him. So we do know, like, some form of medical treatment is coming very soon. They're coming up to the floor, but who's to say that they're going to make it, because what happens just shortly after this conversation is pretty damn dire. So next page. Noro, he's back up after regenerating. And as we know, Noro's always had crazy regenerative abilities, so it's not really a surprise at all after what we saw him do in part 1, but he's still shown to be quite the monster, and how could any of our squad members really take down such a monster that can survive fatal blows like what Psycho did to him the couple chapters beforehand? And so, you're questioning right now, like, how can our characters fight such a fucking monster? It's ridiculous. Like, how could you? And we kind of find out Noro's, like, rated SS. He's double S. And they're just trying to figure out their plans on what they can do. Which leads into something I want to talk about. So there was a panel on this page that said, out of all the ghouls, excluding Al and Shachi. Now, in the first translation that came out earlier today, like there was an earlier translation, this one panel here that shows, it said, out of all the ghouls, excluding Al and Shauna. That's what it said in the original translation. Now, I'm not saying the, raw translation. I'm just saying when Imperial Scans translated the chapter, the translation had excluding Al and Shauna. So there was a translation error at this part, and when I first saw this, I'm like, well, who the fuck is Shauna? Like, see, I went out of my way to try to learn all these characters, and when I heard Shauna pop up, excluding Al and Shauna, I'm like, who the hell is Shauna? I went to the Tokyo Ghoul Wiki, I went everywhere, I tried to look for this, I'm like, who is Shauna? And so I'm like, okay, this is probably a translation error, because last week we also experienced a translation error when it came to Miss MM. Apparently it was Mr. MM, not Miss MM, but it was translated as Miss MM at first, but then got turned into Mr. MM later on in the day. So, I mean, Imperial Scans is known for translation errors, slight translation errors, and so when I saw this person, Shauna, get mentioned, I'm like, and then now it's been told to be Shachi, so now everything is cleared and cleared up, because that would have been a huge segment to talk about, because I'd be like, okay, so if this is not a translation error, who the hell is Shauna? I would have went into all sorts of speculation, but for now, though, we found out it's Shachi, and, how he's one of the strongest classes of ghouls, a part of, Ogirdi Tree and all that. Okay, so next page, we have it to where we kind of find out more about Psycho's condition and how her Kagune actually works. She needs time to recover after using her Kagune, and you can see on her face on the top panel of page 9, where she's breathing heavy, she has sweat, so it looks like even I can't tell by the way the picture is drawn, but there might be some form of veins popping up on her face. I could be wrong, I might be looking at it wrong, but it might be some form of veins, but whatever it is, it shows sweat, like she's sweating, she's tired, she's shaking, and breathing heavy, so after one use of her Kagune, she's in this type of state. So Psycho, she's not the type of person that could go out there and just fight constantly with her Kagune and be completely A-okay. So even though she kicked fucking ass a couple chapters back, which, oh my god, Beiko, you're bae, just bae, so much bae. I'm sad to see how just one use of your Kagune just puts her out of commission, which is going to lead into something very bad, because right now, Psycho can't really even move. She can't do shit. She's, let's just put it in the easiest and simplest terms I can put, she's useless. She's useless on the battlefield right now. She is actually a handicap. She's a hindrance to this battle because she can't do shit right now. She can't even defend herself because she is that exhausted. So right now, she is a liability. And I feel like this is going to lead into a possible kidnapping in next chapter, because the volume is almost done. This volume that, how certain chapters compile into a volume, Ashita loves ending arcs after a volume or so, or a couple volumes. He doesn't like ending like an arc in the middle of a volume, so next chapter might conclude this arc. And if so, that would mean that maybe Noro is going to kidnap Psycho, which we do know there has been foreshadowing to this. I have mentioned it with special videos. I've talked about Psycho possibly disappearing in the future, and also how maybe she might get ROS disease because of the caterpillar fungus, Kagune. So now that I've talked about all of that type of stuff, though, we also come to find out that if they had the weapons that Arima had, like if they had Arima's Narukami, or if they had Mogen's higher mind, they would be fine against Noro. They might be able to fight, which is something I do want to mention. As we know, in the previous fight, past couple chapters, when Haru died, she had a Quinquay that was very similar to Arima's. She had a very similar Quinquay that would be able to fight ghouls, so I feel like if this battle does drag out, which I doubt now, after seeing the aftermath of what Noro does, I doubt the fight's going to continue, but let's just say on the off chance our characters manage to stand up and fight, or at the very least a handful, I feel like they're probably going to run downstairs and probably grab, or upstairs, or is Haru upstairs or downstairs? I forget, or if they're upstairs or downstairs, but wherever Haru's body is and where the Quinquay is, I feel like maybe one of these guys here might try to go grab Haru's Quinquay that she dropped and died with, because that would be very vital to taking out Noro, since it's so powerful, and they would need something of that class and level to probably be able to deal with his regenerative abilities. So, now that we got that, we also have it to where Urei's talking in his mind. He's like, how would my F4 Kagune fare against it? And that's a good question right now. Like, how would Urei really do against Noro with his F4 Kagune? Could he put up a good fight? Most likely fucking not, because, I mean, Noro is Eto's pets, I guess. I guess you could consider Noro Eto's pets, since he is a detachable Kagune. And then all of a sudden, Shirazu makes a big, ballsy move. No pun intended. He makes a move to where he wants to use Nuts. Nuts is Kagune, or, you know, the Quinque from Nuts. And this is the first time we've ever really got to see this. We've ever got to see this being used because it's always been shrouded in secret. Shirazu's been, you know, thinking about his sister and the connection with his sister, Nuts, and, you know, how he took a life. Nuts was a life he took. And since we, as the readers, know ghouls are indeed humans, he took a human life. So we understand what he's been going through and why he's not wanted to use Nuts. And now he's finally taking the steps to use Nuts because they're in that bad of a spot. If they don't do something, they're gonna fucking die. They're all going to die. So, you have it to where Mutsuki has to hold down Noro. Like, he's like, Mutsuki, hold down Noro! And then Mutsuki's like, Roger. And then all of a sudden you see it to where Mutsuki's trying to attack and all that, trying to pin him in place. And you have it to where there's this monologue talking about the Quinque that Shirazu's about to use. And as Mutsuki finally kind of encases into where he can't really move for just a little bit, Shirazu opens up his briefcase, reveals Nuts, and then all of a sudden you say, don't miss. And then basically, this is what the monologue says. It's a Quinque that expands in response to stimuli. Nutcracker, Kokaku/Bikaku S-rate. It's the Chimera Kagune Quinque. So, this type of Quinque, when it strikes an opponent, when it hits it, depending on the stimuli, it will expand. Now, it doesn't let us know how much expansion it can actually do. And this might be the maximum size it could expand to, but that's pretty damn powerful. So, the Quinque literally just expands into a ball when it hits, and it, like, blows out. So, if you were to get impaled in the chest, the Quinque it looks like a spear before it expanded into a ball. When it gets into your body, it will expand. It's kind of like it's just ripping your body apart. This probably would have worked on anyone that was not Noro. This Quinque would have worked on anyone, and it would have been an insta-kill probably on anyone if it was not Noro or Eto, of course. So, it goes to show you the power that Nuts had. Or this Quinque, what type of power it has, how strong it is in the future. And how ridiculous Artema's Quinque is as well. Oh yeah. Now that Noro's down, he gets split in half and he falls down. And you have it to where Machibata, he stabs Noro's upper half in the head. And if you look closely, you'll see Noro's upper half shaking while it's on the ground. It's like just shaking. And then it gets stabbed in the face. And I thought we were going to have some form of face reveal, because you see where the mask kind of cracks a little bit. I thought we were going to get a face reveal. Maybe next chapter we might get a face reveal, which would be pretty badass. Sheeta, please do that. So, it's split in half. Now, let's take note at the top panel when Noro hits the ground. Mutsuki lands on the ground, and Shirazu also lands down. Mutsuki, if you look at the position of the body, if we're considering Mutsuki facing towards Noro's upper half, Mutsuki would be on the right side, okay? And Shirazu would be on the left. So, looking at the legs, the way the legs are positioned, Mutsuki would be on the right of the upcoming panel, and Shirazu would also kind of slightly be on the right depending on how the Kagune hits him, because of the position he's at. But let's also take this into note. Look at also Urei and Takeyomi in the panels too, where they're positioned at. Just take note of all the characters' positions and where they stand in this panel on page 13. Okay, so heading on to page 14. This is the page where I want to be talking quite a bit about and speculating. This panel, what it confirms right off the bat, it confirms that Noro is a detachable Kagune. You cannot deny it any longer. You could theorize that he might not be in these past couple chapters, even though his regenerative abilities were just way too fucking large. You could still kind of emphasize that he might not be a detachable Kagune. And since I mentioned it a long time ago when we saw some weird oddities with Eto, I talked about sentient Kagune, or sentient RC cells, excuse me. Sentient RC cells, Kagune, and maybe how they are parasites that have made or changed, humans and evolved them into ghouls. I've talked about this in depth in those previous chapter reviews, so I'm not going to get back into that subject. But with the reveal of the lower half of Noro coming to life, you see this Kagune just pop up with a mouth. Like, you see a mouth where his legs are at, and then you see a couple of Kagune-like tentacles just popping out, and you also see two other mouths on the tentacles, and they have their own tongues. It looks like they have their own saliva, you can tell by the way they look, and then all these tentacles are just fucking massive in size, to where they're as big as Noro's normal size Kagune. So, this is pretty scary, just to see how it confirms he is a detachable Kagune. He doesn't even need his upper half, from what I can see here. He could probably just regrow everything back, and he's completely fine. But, now that I've said that, let's look at something. In this panel, I recommend pulling up the page yourself. I really recommend you all just to pull up the page for yourself and look at it. The reason why I won't put it on the screen for copyright reasons, because I would probably need it on the screen for quite a bit. But go to page 14 of this, or page 13, depending on if you count the color page. Page 14 or 13, and look at the panel where Noro pops up with his, Kagune when he's split in half and he's starting to attack everybody. You see a dude split in half, you see a person on the ground, looks like they're getting impaled. You see Noro's upper half cut in half way off in the background. And you see someone off in the top left corner just being yanked, and it looks like he also got cut in half. And then you see a leg on the right side, which that is Shirazu. We can obviously see that as Shirazu. So, I'm going to point this out. Look at the top right. Look at the top right of the page. Of this panel. Look at the top right. You're looking at probably the top right, and you're looking at, okay, so what am I looking at? It looks like some form of tentacle, and if you look closely, you will see some shape of an arm, a hand. Look closely, you'll see some form of arm or hand on the top right, sticking out of the tentacle. But let's look closer. Look a little bit closer. Look at the way the tentacle is designed going up to the top right. The tentacle is very small. It's a very small Kagune. It gets smaller and smaller as it gets to the tip. And look closely at how all of a sudden, when it gets towards the end, it just expands outward like it does. And if you look closely to the design of the arm, that is the upper half of a human body. That is a upper half to a human body. You can see the blood splatter. If you look closely, you will see the blood coming out of it. So the Kagune tentacle is literally straight up inside of someone's fucking body. Cut them in half and is in their damn organs, into their chest. That's what it is. And you can't really make out the face, but look at the position. As I said in the last page, take note of everybody's position. Where they stand, where they were at, next to the legs, the lower half of Noro. On the left side of this, on the left side, on the top right would be considered the left side of the last panel, last page. That is Mutsuki. Mutsuki has been cut in half. On the right side you see a leg sticking out. That is Shirazu. Look at the outfit, look at the leg. That is Shirazu. That is fucking Shirazu. That design of his leg and all that it's so easy to tell that's Shirazu. So, the only person that Mutsuki could be is that person on the top right there, getting cut in half and literally being used as a finger puppet. That doesn't even begin the horror of this page. You ready? Shirazu, look at Shirazu now. The Kagune, it looks like it might miss him, but we can assume that he probably lost his arm. Look at the blood splatter closely, where his arm might be if it wasn't blocked by the Kagune. You could see some form of trail blood splatter. So, maybe Shirazu just lost his... Well, it would be considered this. He'd lost this. He just lost all of this. He might have just lost his arm, or he could have lost all this. Maybe he lost everything this way. Whatever the case may be, he definitely lost a limb, or lost something. So Shirazu, he's injured. He's critical right now. Let's look on the bottom of the page. On the bottom of the page, you see legs just sticking fucking up, and the person's on their stomach. They're on the ground. The way their legs are emphasized, that means they're on their stomach, and the Kagune looks like it's the most direct hit, like one of the most direct hits on this page besides the guy getting cut in half. The Kagune tentacle looks like it literally just went straight through the back of someone and impelling them, just pinning them to the damn ground and impelling them straight through the back spine, through the gut. That's the way it looks like to me. And probably splitting someone in half in the process. Now, once again, I want to point out, look at the last page. The position of the characters, that is Ure. That is the perfect spot for Ure to be at right now. You want to know why I know it's Ure? Because look at the person that is being cut in half. The person being cut in half is Michibata, that was stabbing Noro's upper half. Because look at the background closely, and you will see no person back there in the background that was stabbing Noro's head. You see no one back there. So, that means that the Kagune tentacle went around and pushed this dude off of Noro all the way up to the front between Ure and Takeyomi. And Ure's on the ground being pinned. That's why Ure most likely might be on the ground like he is, because he probably tried to get out of the way and to dodge, and then he got pushed over by Michibata, and then Noro took the chance and stabbed him straight through the back. Now, you could try to say like, no, it's not. Look at also in the background top left corner. Look at the top left corner, and you also see what apparently is Takeyomi. If you look closely at the way the tentacle is going behind Machibata, it looks like Takeyomi might be cut in half as well. So, let me also explain why I think this is Machibata being cut in half right here so visibly. Because look at the way he's standing. He's facing away from Noro. And if you look at the way the stab is on the head against Noro in the background, he was facing this direction, towards us. Michibata was facing us in this panel. Because look at the way the sword is inside of Noro's head right there. So that would mean that Noro went up behind him, pushed him into the crowd, cut him in half, and then another tentacle came in, stabbed Ure, and then Takeyomi probably got cut in half as well. And then you have it to where Mutsuki, that was on the side of Noro, got fucking cut in half, and like her upper half is inside of a tentacle. And then Shirazu has lost his, arm. He's lost his arm, or he's lost, half his fucking body right here. So, a lot of death. This panel is a lot of death. Just so much death. Well, you can already say, from the way this panel is, we have Michibata, he's dead. He's fucking dead. The dude on the ground, that is Ure. That is definitely a major character. If that's not Ure, that is someone else. That is someone very important. Like, we know there is a major character in here that just got fucking killed. We know a QS just got killed. You could try to say, no, there's no way everybody is dead. We know at the very least there is one major death in this, because they're all getting attacked. And all the people that in the last panel that were 5, they're all being attacked in this. Because look, top right corner, that's 1. Right side with the leg sticking out, that's 2. The bottom, that's 3. The one getting cut in half, that's 4. The one on the top left, that's 5. Now let's count the people in the last page. You have it to where Mutsuki pops down onto the left side. Shirazu pops down on the right side, that's 2. You have it to where Michibata stabs Noro in the face, that's 3. Takeyomi in the panel, that's 4. And then Ure right next to him, that's 5. How many people are being attacked in this fucking page? 5. So, we have, at the very least, 2 to 3, maybe, no, all 5 are fucking dead. The only one that could possibly be alive is Shirazu. He is the only one I could see being alive right now. But even then, he's probably critical. Maybe Ure is not completely dead yet. Maybe he's been impaled, but maybe he's not dead yet. Maybe he might try to fight just a little bit, and then he will kill over. Whatever the case may be, this is very bad. A bunch of characters just fucking died. Okay, now that that is done, Heisei Sasuke getting the shit beat out of him. He's broken. He's laying up against the ground. Connie is just having his way with him. And he's speaking German, making fun of him, hanging him around. Just, he's a ragdoll. Just, Sasuke is a ragdoll right now for Kanye as he just beats the shit out of him. And I like this last panel here. What he says to Sasuke. At the very least, become a beautiful memory for Master Shu before you die. That's pretty good. I like that line. That entire line is badass. But the way he's holding Sasuke on the throat Oh my god. It's fucking savage as shit, dude. And then all of a sudden, a kick to the damn face by Sasuke. So this is a parallel to Jason in Part 1 of Tokyo Ghoul. If you go back to Part 1 of Tokyo Ghoul, Jason got hit in the face by Kaneki as well. So this is a parallel to that, where where Kaneki is getting kicked in the face by Sasuke, and Kaneki is the one that kicked Jason in the face in Part 1. So, once again, parallels we're seeing. And all of a sudden, you see it to where Kanye gets fucking wrecked. So the way I take this final panel, Kanye has been critically injured, and he might be dead, judging by the way this panel is done, which I doubt, actually. I don't think Kanye is dead, because let me explain one important thing. We're all forgetting that he is now Noro. He has been implanted with Eto's Kagune and been tampered with. His organs have been tampered with. His body has been tampered with. So he's been implanted or replanted. So I feel like the way Noro's abilities were being shown off in this chapter, or these past couple chapters, with how he can regenerate so fast, it might imply that's what Kanye can now do as well. Maybe he can regenerate very fast, just like Noro, and he's going to be completely fine. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see, like, some form of Kagune come out to where his head just got kicked off. Because I think the way this page looks, it looks like Kanye's head just got fucking kicked off his shoulder blades. Like, look closely, you see, like, some form of head just flying off. I think his head's gone, so if it is, I wouldn't be surprised to see some form of Kagune just popping out to where his head used to be and trying to grab his head or forming a new head. I would not be surprised at all. So yeah, that is my thoughts on this chapter. Holy shit, Ashita, no chill whatsoever from you. No chill can be found. It's very fun. Chapter very fun. So yeah, you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.